I'll start with Professor S. Ramachandran, Vice Chancellor, Hindustan University, Chennai. Round of applause for him, please.
Good evening to one and all. My colleague on the dais and off the dais, dear friends. My topic is going to be on learning outcomes of higher education in a global economic scenario. Can I have my thing? Can I make it? Ramachandran. Higher education is a critical factor in innovation and human capital development. And higher education today is characterized by massive expansion and wider participation. Yes, okay. And coming to the purpose of higher education, there are three major purposes: advancing the knowledge, employability, and contributing to the society. All of them are equally important when we talk about the outcomes, learning outcomes. I have to skip a lot because the time is very limited. The objective of learning outcomes is to support the knowledge economy, as well as to provide the knowledge necessary for the social mobility and economic progress essential to societies across the globe. So if you see the definition of the learning outcomes are statements of what a student should know, understand, and or be able to demonstrate after completion of a process of learning. The learning activity could be, for example, a lecture, a module, or an entire program. Learning outcomes must not simply be a wish list of what a student is capable of doing on completion of the learning activity. Learning outcomes must be simply and clearly described, and it should be validly assessed. And most of these learning outcomes should pay emphasis on the learners and also the learner's ability to do something rather than knowing something. So going to the desired outcomes, after learning outcomes, we should be able to develop a skilled, job-ready, and productive workforce by imparting technical and soft skills training. Then imparting education and skills that enable students to become entrepreneurs. Then enabling higher education graduates with global skills who can be employed by workforce deficient countries. Then enabling development of successful economic models at the grassroots level through the community engagement, and developing research-focused universities that deliver high-quality research output and research-focused graduates. In order to do that, we need to focus on imparting knowledge and technical know-how and delivering the content rather than generating the content. That will be one of the most important requirements for our learning outcomes. Next one will be to offer courses that are required for the market and it to be in synchronous with the market requirements and not independently developed. For doing that, the curriculum should be designed in consultation with the industry practitioners. Otherwise, whatever we offer in our curriculum may not be useful for the industry. Then other important thing is combining the theory with the practical. That's most important. Most of our higher education system, this is lacking. So we have to combine the theory and practical methods in our pedagogy. Next one is to do the mandatory internship before the final year of the program so that they get the feel of the industry and the environment. Next one will be to adopt pedagogy that focuses on developing critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, while emphasizing the student learning outcomes. Next will be to do entrepreneurship training to build future leaders, not just the students. Another most important thing is the liberal arts approach in education to create a well-rounded individuals who are knowledgeable, who are risk takers, who are principled, who are communicators, who are balanced, who are thinkers, who are open-minded, who are encouragers, who are reflective and caring. We can also use the ICT tools in pedagogy and mix of face-to-face and online delivery of the content. It's also essential to partnership with Tier 1 and Tier 2 international institutions to provide our students global exposure so that they are prepared for a multicultural environment. Then shift the focus, put the learner in the center. Learner-centered paradigm of education, there's a transformation of the student's role from a passive player to an active participant. He needs to participate actively, and the professor from instructor to a facilitator. And students must be encouraged to take greater responsibility for their learning outcomes. The learner-centered paradigm of education, the students shall have to encourage to be reflexive and thoughtful learners, learning for themselves, their peers, and their immediate environment. Less lecturing and note-taking, and more hands-on activities to allow for experiential and interactive learning. So it is the learner-centered activities which is more important to get our desired outcomes. The learning through self-directed ways is most important, and increased responsibility of the students for learning outcomes, then learning from peers, immediate environment beside the faculty, then faculty acts as a facilitator, and more experiential learning through the activities. Then intensive use of technology like MOOCs. Then when you design the curriculum of higher education for emerging economies, it is more important that you focus on knowledge economy rather than industry economy. We have been doing that for the past years, but now we need to move towards the knowledge economy that focuses on creativity, critical thinking, culture awareness, problem solving, and communication skills. You also go for specialists trained for science, then technical professionals, and most importantly, strong leaders with generalist knowledge who are creative, adaptable, and able to give broad ethical consideration to social advance. This is completely missed in our higher education system, and we fail to produce any leaders. So learning outcomes should focus on data and indicators that demonstrate that students have mastered specific objectives as a result of their higher education. Students will know a professional code of ethics, that is knowledge. Then students will be able to describe the problem-solving process, comprehension. Then students will solve research problems through the application of scientific methods, that is application. Then interaction between the student and faculty, career expectations, completion and success in finding a job, then leveraging ICT to enhance the quality of education. So the features of learning outcomes are, learning outcomes need to be started upfront. There should be a constructive alignment. Learning outcomes should be aligned with curriculum, design and development, and also teaching methods and assessment strategies. Learning outcomes should determine course and program effectiveness, and it should be measurable and be done to prove the accountability. So these are the things which we need now to get the desired learning outcomes in higher education in a globalized world. Thank you.